Welcome back. We're talking with Jim Boren, Dianne Hardisty, Paul Hurley, and Judy Sly. The City of Bell's salary and pension benefit scandal, where the city manager was claiming a $600,000 pension on an $800,000 a year salary, prompted widespread outrage and calls for limits on the salaries and pensions of government officials. While such salaries and pensions are clearly not the norm, the unfunded pension and retiree health liabilities for teachers and state employees now total $136 billion. So, Paul, last year there was an agreement between the state and some of its unions to roll back pensions to pre-1999 levels for newly hired employees. Did they think that took the wind out of pension reform?
It's a start. The Bell story, made a big splash because it was so extreme, and at least that focused some attention on a problem that's been lurking out there for years and years, and it's just been building, and nobody was really paying attention to. But every municipality probably has some examples of some public officials or retirees who are claiming or receiving benefits that are way out of whack. The entire system needs to be reformed.
You know, Judy, the California Public Employees Retirement System, CalPERS, closed out its books last year and had a net return of 13.3%. That's pretty healthy. That's a significant improvement over the previous year when they had a 23.4% loss. So is this a situation of just let's be patient and let the market bail us out of this problem?
I don't think the market is enough. Two thoughts. First of all, I think CalPERS still has a predicted return of 8% a year, and that is a very optimistic expectation. The second thing that people are considering is part of the problem here is that people are just living longer. So if you don't get those retirement ages raised, you're going to have people spending more years in retirement than they actually spent working, and that's part of the financial problem. Okay,
Dianne, the other issue is public safety disability pensions. A lot of people call those the forgotten child in the pension debate. And just for the record, since 1999, police and firefighters have been able to retire as early as age 50 with 90% of their paychecks for life. Given the political clout of public safety unions in Sacramento, is this something that the legislature is likely to address?
Well, I don't think the disability is the big issue in I think it's the unfunded liability, and I think there is a role that the legislature can and should, play in this, perhaps setting, unified standards among all of the pension programs, in addition, the issue of governance. I think on all these boards, most of the people that are sitting on the boards of these funds have a vested interest in the benefits. And I think if the taxpayers are on the hook for, the liability, there should be more of a voice. How that voice gets on that board, those boards, I don't know. But the decisions are being made by people that have a vested interest.
Speaking locally here in Fresno, like a lot of other cities, public safety makes up about 2/3 of the city's pension contributions. About 3 weeks ago, the Fresno City Council approved amendments to the police contract that extends all deals to June of 2015. That means any major change, like a move from a defined benefits plan to a defined contribution plan, or to end abuses like spiking final pay with sick leave, are not going to occur for at least 4 years. Is this an example of kicking the can down the road?
Yeah, of course it is. These are very difficult decisions with very powerful special interests, and politicians just don't want to deal with that question if they can push it down to 2015, and then at 2015 they'll push it on again.
What's happening in your other jurisdictions, like in Visalia, for example?
It's pretty difficult in local jurisdictions. The legislature can set these things, but it's the people who are elected to our city councils and boards of supervisors that are going to be the bad guys, and they're going to be taking the fall for this. So I don't blame them for really treading lightly on this. In Visalia, they have started some pension reform. They have enacted some things that would roll back contributions for later hires. But it's really tough to do anything with people who are working now.
But could you argue that public safety unions might be even more powerful at the local level in deciding, who gets on the city council by backing, the candidate that supports public safety, the police officers union supports them? That's in a lot of communities. That's a pretty important endorsement.
Well, they are. 2 years ago, the firefighters union in Visalia, as a block, endorsed 3 candidates, including 2 newcomers to public office, and they were elected easily. And a lot of people said it was partly on the support of the Firefighters Association.
Anything happening in Modesto?
Actually, what's happening up our way is in Stanislaus County. The Board of Supervisors has been very aggressive and has rolled back pensions through negotiations primarily for all the new hires starting this month. And the last couple of unions that haven't agreed to that, the county has imposed a hiring freeze and said we will not replace any position, no matter how desperate, until we get this resolved. I think Stanislaus has been a big leader, and that's helping the cities. I know that the city of Modesto is in negotiations right now on the subject of going back to a lower tier, and they're happy that the county's gone first.
There you go. Well, when we come back, we'll talk about the dreaded T word, taxes. Will new taxes have to be part of a state or local budget fix? That conversation when we return. This is the Maddy Report.